Well, the stakes are rising as polling day draws near. Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton clashing in the fourth and final leaders' debate of the campaign. In what was a slightly more fiery exchange than previous debates, cost of living, energy, housing and national security dominated.
There are just 5 sleeps to go, but who's counting? Let's bring in our political reporter, Olivia Casely, who is at Parliament House. Olivia, I'm guessing you are probably counting down. Just take us through, what were some of the key moments from the final leaders' debate last night?
Well, there were no shortage of flashpoints in what was a particularly fiery final debate between the two leaders. On the issue of national security, the opposition leader Peter Dutton directly called out China as Australia's biggest threat, citing security briefings he'd received as Defence Minister and also in his role as leader of the coalition as well. Anthony Albanese, by contrast, was more restrained in his response, essentially saying that China is seeking to exert more influence in our region, the Indo-Pacific, but he didn't directly call out Beijing as a direct threat. Another key issue was welcome to country ceremonies. So more broadly, Anthony Albanese was asked about how he will follow up from the failed voice referendum in terms of improving outcomes for Indigenous Australians. As we know, just 4 of the 19 closing the gap targets are on track. However, there was a sort of more of a political fight, you'd have to say, between Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese on welcome to country ceremonies more specifically. Ultimately, Peter Dutton says that there was a risk that they're being overused and therefore their significance is being reduced. But Anthony Albanese said that's not the case. It's up to organisers to have these acknowledgements if they want to, and here's some of that exchange.
There is a sense across the community that it's overdone. For the opening of Parliament, fair enough, it's respectful to do, but for the start of every meeting at work or the start of a football game, I think a lot of Australians think it's overdone and it cheapens the significance of what it was meant to do.
It's a matter of respect, but it's also, of course, up to the organisations that are hosting an event of whether they have a welcome to country or not. It's up to them, and people will have different views and people are entitled to their views.
Now, on the overall scorecard, a panel of undecided voters gave the night and the debate, that is, to Anthony Albanese. He'll be buoyed too by the latest news poll results out today, giving Labor a 52 to 48 lead after preferences, and that mirrors the result he received in 2022 when his government won a majority. We did see, though, in those debate results from last night, there is still a huge number of undecided voters. So both parties over the next couple of days of election campaigning will really be trying to win those ballots.
I'm sure they will. That music is very dramatic through the debate, Olivia. Thanks for your time. We'll check in with you later. In a moment, we're going to be chatting with Labor's Jason Clare and later the Liberal Party spokeswoman, Jane Hume.
Let's go to Rome now, where Emma has been following the many tributes for Pope Francis. Emma is outside his final resting place. Emma, tell us your experience of seeing his tomb.
I've got to say it was pretty stunning, pretty powerful to go into the Basilica di Santa Maria Maggiore. The doors closed just over an hour ago. 45,000 people came here to visit Pope Francis's tomb, his final resting place. It was pretty remarkable. We had there's a very simple tomb. A white rose has rested on the tomb as well. So many people came in, a lot of young people as well, and they were talking about what it was like to see it. They said it was moving, it was emotional. We also saw dozens of cardinals come in. They came to visit the tomb as well and to pray in the church. Now, all eyes are starting to shift to the conclave. They will decide who will be the next Pope of the Catholic Church. We know the makeup is very different to when Pope Francis was elected. It's because he has anointed 80% of those cardinals who will be eligible to vote. So we still don't know a date of when that will happen, but it looks like it will be May the 6th onwards. But lots of people will be focused squarely on exactly when that will happen and who will be elected as the next Pope.
Thanks very much, Emma. It is a really sacred time there in Rome with so many people from around the world. flying into Rome, travelling to Rome in this Jubilee year.
Yeah, they are. All right, let's get some more news now. And an inquest into last year's Bondi Junction stabbings begins in Sydney this morning. The New South Wales coroner is expected to scrutinise the emergency response to the attack and the killer's mental health treatment for schizophrenia. Joel Couchy killed 6 people in under 3 minutes when he went on a stabbing rampage at Westfield Bondi Junction.
The Liberal candidate for a high-profile Western Sydney seat has apologised after the ABC uncovered a number of social media posts in which he used an offensive term for Indigenous Australians. Vivek Singha published the comments in the lead-up to the 2023 Voice to Parliament referendum. Mr Singha is running in the seat of Fowler, which is expected to be a two-way race between independent Dai Lee and Labor candidate Chu Lee.
Candidates in Canada's election are making their final pitches under the shadow of the Vancouver tragedy. The Conservatives were widely expected to cruise to victory against the governing Liberal Party of Canada, but the latest polls have the Liberals in front following the resignation of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and US President Donald Trump's harsh tariffs. The national poll happens today, local time.
Police are investigating after an ambulance and bus crashed in Melbourne's west overnight. It's believed the ambulance was en route to an incident when the crash occurred at an intersection in Sunshine. The bus driver and 4 passengers were unharmed, while the sole occupant of the ambulance suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
An anti-depression drug made from a form of ketamine will soon be made available through the Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme. The drug is a nasal spray and normally costs thousands of dollars, but with the government subsidy, it will only cost around $32 per dose. The drug has been developed for people suffering from treatment-resistant depression.